Switzerland. What comes to your mind when you think of Switzerland? Chocolates? Cheese? Watches? Scenic mountains? I'm sure. And of course, if you belong to the 90s, then Bollywood too. If you are in the world of international politics, I don't have to tell you about the role Switzerland has played in peacekeeping, international trade, and cooperation throughout history. And if, like me, you're in the luxury industry, I do not have to recount the role of the Swiss in the luxury world. You all know my love for Switzerland and watches. Is it a coincidence that I love watches and I love the country that makes watches? Which one comes first? I try to find the answer, but I don't have one, and on the contrary, does it even matter? I love both equally. Switzerland is my calling, and believe me, it was a blessing to have traveled again in 2021. Since 1996 until 2019, there hasn't been a single year that I've not made a trip to Switzerland. So my joy knew no bounds when I could visit paradise on earth again after a gap of 2 years. Welcome to Luxe Insider with me, your host Anita Khatri. This week's episode is all about my favorite cities that you must visit if you travel to Switzerland. And yes, it's not about watches. Well, I don't wish to speak about my first trip to Switzerland. Since I have had several trips to Switzerland, I can maybe safely say that I have seen and visited both the popular sites and the hidden treasures in the country. This episode is a roundup of the same. I always say, बनाने वाले ने स्विट्जरलैंड को जरूर फुर्सत में बनाया होगा. Where do you even begin? The lakes, the snow-clad mountains, the lush green environment, the clean air you breathe, and one of the best organized public transport systems. So many things that call for praise. There are 3 well-known sites that Switzerland has to itself: the German side, the Italian side, and the French side. You may wonder, why am I sharing this? This is because most of the places have a German touch to the extent that the language of that region is Swiss German. Then there is Swiss French and Swiss Italian. This is because Switzerland is bordered to the west by France, to the north by Germany, to the east by Austria and Liechtenstein, and to the south by Italy. This influence is therefore obvious. And now, without much ado, here is my roundup of the places that you must add to your travel itinerary. Also, I must mention that if you do a Google search for places to be visited in Switzerland, my suggestions may not match the same. This is because not all of my suggestions are tourist locations. They are my personal choices and my own experiences that I believe that you all listeners may also like. That being said, any other city, town or village of Switzerland is worth visiting. And as I said before, this country is paradise on earth. Let's just begin. The first Swiss location is a mountain village called Mürren, located at the foot of Schilton's Peak. The village is accessible by cable car only. Mürren is essentially a farming village with a year-round population of 450 inhabitants. Interestingly, if the population is a handful, can you guess the number of hotel beds in this village? 2,000. No, I'm not joking. Tourism is a backbone for this village economy. Winter sports, particularly have been an important part of Mürren's history since the first British winter tourists arrived in 1911. The village features a view of the three towering mountains, Eiger, Monch, and Jungfrau. Some of the hotels you can check into Mürren are Hotel Alpenblick, Hotel Alpenruhe, Alpina, Hotel Bellevue, Hotel Edelweiss, Hotel Eiger, Hotel Jungfrau, and Hotel Regina. Close to the mountain village is the Trumbleback Falls, a series of 10 glacier-fed waterfalls inside a mountain made accessible by tunnel funicular built in 1913. The distance between the village and the falls is only 2 kilometers, and I highly recommend visiting this UNESCO World Heritage Site. Nothing beats the spectacle of witnessing a series of 10 waterfalls thundering down inside a mountain. When you're in Switzerland, and especially the countryside, don't be surprised if you're the only one on the street after 6 pm. I kind of got used to walking on the streets alone. But in Lugano, my second recommendation, you'll find people on the streets even after 6 pm. Chirpiness and color characterize this quaint town. It is the largest town located in southern Switzerland in the Italian-speaking Ticino region. Its Swiss Mediterranean culture mix is closely related to that of Italy's northern Lombardy region. This Italian influence is reflected in its architecture and cuisine. The city stands on the northern shore of the glacial lake Lugano, surrounded by mountains. Its main square, Piazza della Riforma, is ringed with pastel-colored neoclassical palazzi, meaning a palatial building in Italy. My suggestion is to take a funicular or gondola to the top of a nearby peak to experience stunning views of Lugano and the majestic Alps. And last but not the least, soak in the culture of the city while you walk the town, indulging in eating a slice of the best pizzas Switzerland has to offer. Moving on, next is St.Moritz, the destination of the rich, the destination loved by celebrities, the ultimate skiing location, and also referred to as the winter wonderland. Unfortunately, I visited this place only for 1.5 days, and that too during the summer. I would definitely plan my next trip here in the winter to discover winter sports and St. Moritz look and feel in winter times. I recall reaching this town located in the Engadus Valley by train from Zurich. As soon as you reach, the architecture of the town reminds you of being in a fairy tale. It is so beautiful and mesmerizing that it almost appears to be unreal. Like other Swiss towns, St. Moritz is silent. But in its silence, there is a different vibrancy. Silence is also followed by the chime of the clock, the bell tower of St. Moritz, which keeps you informed that time waits for no one and it's ticking. You cannot miss visiting the St. Moritz lake, the serenity and the blue waters, the clean pathways and the walk by the lake. You can smell the purity of the fresh air. I managed to indulge in small water sports and take a boat ride. While taking a tour of this town, you realize that it's also a heaven for luxury shopping, with all the luxury brand boutiques in the city. All things luxury come with a price. And I would say that this town is the most expensive one compared to other cities of Switzerland, especially in accommodation and dining out. It does offer several 2-star Michelin restaurants and there are 5-star hotels. Some of the 5-star hotels in this location include Kempinski, Grand Hotel de Bar Kempinski. The price for a room night is approximately Rs 61,000 per night, but during summer and not during winter. Also, I was privileged to experience a fabulous meal at the 2 Michelin star restaurant Da Vittorio. Finally, the last place that I can never stop talking about is Luzern. This is how it is pronounced the German way, being located at the German-Swiss side. This city, that is Luzern, is the most populated city of Switzerland and is in central Switzerland. Due to its central location, you can park yourself at Luzern and travel to other cities by train. From Luzern, traveling to Bern and Interlaken is easy and simple. The entire city has the Renaissance look and feel to it. It has a beautiful lake with swans and ducks swimming and often meeting in person with the tourists. Local residents during summer often indulge in swimming, fishing and boating. This city has a number of bridges. This includes the Chapel Bridge or the Kappelbruck, a 204-meter wooden covered bridge originally built in 1333. It is the oldest covered bridge in Europe. Although much of it had to be replaced after a fire on 18th August 1993, which was allegedly caused by a discarded cigarette. Part of the bridge complex is the octagonal water tower, a fortification from the 13th century. Over the centuries, the tower has been used as a prison, torture chamber, and later a municipal archive as well as a local treasury. Today, the tower is closed to the public, although it houses a local artillery association and a tourist gift shop. Also, across the bridge, you can see a series of paintings from the 17th century depicting events from Luzern's history. There are many other cities that you must visit, like the Old Town of Zurich, Crans-Montana, Vevey, Lausanne, French-influenced Lausanne, Bern, Basel. All the necessary information in terms of pricing and how to get there you can find on Google. Best way to discover Switzerland is to travel by road and train. Experiencing the train journey is in itself a tourist trip. Comfortable seats and big windows which are spotlessly clean gives a view of the lakes and mountains. I often wonder how these engineers have managed to construct the rail system across the mountains and through tunnels on an uneven terrain, not forgetting the heights. After all, the world's steepest rail rack is in Switzerland. Above all this is the accuracy of the trains and the entire public system. They respect your time and in return win the love of the people. To make it really convenient for every tourist, Swiss Tourism issues a 6-day or an 8-day Swiss Rail Pass. This pass is useful on road, rail and water. So you can use it on the public bus, train and also on the boats. Isn't this really convenient? Switzerland is all about natural beauty. It is nature's creation which has been appreciated by Swiss residents and nurtured to make Swiss tourism an important contributor to the Swiss economy. And for me, the purest air, mountains, lakes, nature, along with all things so organized, makes me feel stress-free. I feel I have a connection with this beautiful country. It's almost as if I belong to this country in my past life. And with that, it's a wrap on this week's episode. Write to me on podcast@anitakhatri.com and share your thoughts on what topic you would like me to cover next. I look forward to hearing from you. Until then, stay safe and see you next week.